Hello everybody, welcome to Market Masterclass, and we're looking at a very unique country today in the Himalayas, or some people call it the Himalayas. It's north of India and very dependent on India, and India gives it a lot of aid, and 80% or more than 80% of their exports go to India. We're talking about the country of Bhutan, and their whole existence is very little to do with economic development and economics. They are focusing on their Buddhist spiritual values. They value nature. They value their culture. They they like to think of material development goes hand in hand with spiritual development, and 80% of their economy is based on agriculture. Now, interestingly enough, they export, as I said, mainly to India, and hydroelectric power is their main export to India, which is quite ironical because 70% of their own population has no electricity whatsoever, and their entire only source of energy is through firewood. Now, in terms of economic ratings, which really has nothing to do with Bhutan in many respects, they are rated as 30% of the population is below the poverty line, 25% live on less than $1.25 per day, but basically they're pretty happy people, these 750 million people in the country. And even in 1972, King Wangchuck produced a little GNP, as they called it, Gross National Happiness Quotient. And that was the purpose of that was that quality of life depended on holistic and psychological development, and material and spiritual development should go hand in hand, as I mentioned. And in terms of the tourism that they do have, and the tourists they have to spend $200 a day. That's part of the requirement for coming to Bhutan. And any tourism that they have is very sustainable, environmentally friendly, and economically viable. So that's their take in terms of what they do get involved with. In terms of economics, let me just move on there. They do have a little bit of industry which is they produce wood products, processed fruit, alcoholic beverages, calcium carbide and cement, and as I mentioned, tourism. In terms of ease of doing business in the country, they're rated as 125th in the world, but don't let that bother you. They're pretty happy people. In terms of exports, I mentioned mainly to India, that's electricity. They also export handicrafts, precious stones, spices, fruit, a little bit of cement, gypsum, and cardamom. And India sends 73% of their imports come from India, and 6% from South Korea, and as you'd be expected in a non-economic industrialized country, that involves vehicles, manufacturing goods, fuel and lubricants, even aircraft coming into the country from outside. So a very relaxed, spirited country, and in the highest mountains of the world. That's Bhutan. And I hope you found that useful and interesting. Bye for now.